What up, Instagram? Hello. Yeah. Hi, guys. Anjanika Brooks here. I missed y'all on Friday. So, I'm down here for a Sunday edition of my live. Who goes live without announcing it? Me. I need to get it in, and I just want to make sure I give you guys the info that I have. And so it's Sunday. I'm down here hanging out in the basement. So I've got to speak loudly today. Not like I'm not capable of doing that. I have really loud voice, just how I grew up. But I have my heater down here, and the furnace is on down here, but it's cold in this basement. So anyway, I wanted to continue my series on being empowered, and it's called From Unmothered to Empowered. And so I was talking about the benefits of healing, and so that's what I have been doing for the past couple weeks. And I missed Friday, like I said, because of work, and so I'm on here today to talk to you about forgiveness. And yeah, that's a loaded topic. I could probably do like three different lives on that, but I'm not even going to be before you long today, because I want to try to hit the points of why forgiveness is so powerful, why it's such a big part of the healing journey, and then let you be on with your day. So anyway, so like I said, I'm Anjanika Brooks, and I wrote this book called Unmothered. I have it here. Unmothered, A Daughter's Guide to Acceptance, Healing, and Renewal. So yeah, this is the book that I released last year. Book that has been in my soul for like nearly 20 years. I lost my mother to breast cancer, and before losing her, I had already lost her, and I didn't realize that I'd lost her, but I did. My mother and I did not have a good relationship. We didn't have the relationship that I thought we were going to have, that I wanted to have, and it was because she had a lot going on emotionally, internally, and she just allowed it to kind of play out in her life, and it affected me. I do have siblings, but I think every child's journey is different, and so the relationship I had with my mother just it wasn't a good one, just for various reasons, and I talk about it in the book. But now I'm a grown woman, and so I have written this book because I think that it can help others. I was told to write this book. God literally spoke to me just after my mother died and said, "You're going to write a book. It's going to help other people, because there are other people that have been through this, that are going through this, that are going to go through this. You're going to write this book." So in struggling to write the book, I ended up with a book coach, the Jasmine Womack. You can find her on Instagram and on Facebook. Amazing, phenomenal woman that can teach you how to birth your book, how to get your book out. And so in working with Jasmine, I was able to tap into the true message of the book, whereas I thought before that the book was going to be about my mother going through grief, struggling with cancer, and how that affected me, my siblings, our family. It is a part of my story, but that the whole message really was deeper than that. And so I know it's hard to get deeper than someone you love going through cancer, and definitely losing them. But the message is that generations upon generations are dealing with toxic and narcissistic abuse, and it's coming from mothers, and nobody's talking about it. And because nobody's talking about it, it keeps perpetuating itself. It keeps going forward. So I'm talking about it because I want us to be better. Not because I'm Miss Goody Two Shoes. I've been called that, certainly, but because God told me, you went through it and you have survived it. Someone else is going to go through it, and I want you to help them. And so I'm trying to be obedient, and so that's where the book came from. I want to write, I love to write, but more than that, I believe I'm here to help people that are dealing with something difficult. And so today we're talking about forgiveness. So I want to point out what forgiveness isn't. And I talk about this in the book as well. There are actually 2 chapters on forgiveness. One is about forgiving the other person or someone else that hurt you, and the other chapter is about when you need to forgive yourself. I'm going to kind of touch on both of them here just a little bit. But first of all, what forgiveness is not you being weak. Actually, forgiveness takes a lot of strength. It takes you to pull from within when you're ready to forgive. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you are going to okay or say it was all right to anyone that hurt you. You are not letting them off the hook, so to speak, for doing something to you. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness doesn't mean that now that you have forgiven whoever the person is, whether it's you or someone else, but if it's someone else, it doesn't mean that you now are reconciling with that person and you have to let them back into your heart, back into your life. It doesn't mean that. So what I believe forgiveness means is that you recognize that something happened, something undesirable, something, it could have been traumatic, could have been scarring, but you recognize that something happened, and you know that holding on to that and replaying that is keeping you in a stuck place and in a hurt place, and you are saying, no more. I'm tired of this. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to move forward. And when you do that, that is, in my opinion, forgiveness. When you decide, when you make the choice to let go of whatever it is and take the steps towards your future, that's what forgiveness is. To do it, though, you do have to release some of the negative feelings that you have. And that's where people, I think, have a lot of problem with forgiveness. The issues come up because they don't want to let it go. But when you're truly ready to forgive, you have to relinquish that control, because first of all, you can't change the past. You can't go back and change it. So you have to accept what happened, relinquish the control over trying to get revenge or trying to go after another person in whatever way, wishing hateful things. You have to let that go and be willing to move forward. So that, to me, is what forgiveness means, is that you are ready to step into the newness of everything that God has for you, everything that's meant for you. You're ready to do that. And you are saying, I'm not going to keep replaying, I'm not going to keep reliving what happened to me because it's not good for me. Okay, so when you do that, I'm just looking at my notes here, make sure I don't miss anything. When you do that, when you decide, a mind shift has to occur. And that's why forgiveness is so powerful, because it is a mental shift. And when that mental shift occurs and you know that you are now ready to, so to speak, go after your life, to rebuild, to put things back in place the way they should be, when it happens, it's instantly powerful. It brings with it so much power, because now you realize, okay, not only can I decide that I'm going to move away from something that happened, something that hurt me, and claim my future, but I am claiming my resilience. I am embracing my strength. I am saying, okay, what's next? No, this didn't break me. So it's sort of like a way of talking to yourself and saying, whatever they didn't work, didn't succeed. Yes, it was a hard time, whatever, happened, but it didn't succeed in holding me down, because look at me. I am about to go for it. And then to yourself, you just show yourself love. If it's yourself you're forgiving, it's just like how God loves us. We do things on a daily. To other people, we don't listen to Him, all kinds of things that people do, and we are forgiven. And so, yeah, you have to give that to yourself too, and say that you're ready. You are stepping into the power that's there, and it's just basically the power of positive thoughts, positive movement, just doing the right thing. And yes, if you are a Bible believer, or if you're a Christian, or even if you just think forgiveness is the right thing to do, doesn't have anything to do with the Bible or religion or anything like that, then you know that it is like a divine setup. You have to be able to forgive because there are so many things that happen in this world, things we do, things that happen to us. How could we move forward if we were constantly thinking about something bad that happened, something that didn't go our way, something that was done wrong to us? How would we as people be able to mentally accomplish anything? How can we go through the day if all we ever think about is something negative that happened that upset us, right? So I feel like forgiveness is divine. It's divine because there is no way that you're going to be able to have a spirit of negativity over you all the time, whether you were done wrong or not, and be able to move forward and prosper. So so there's a command on our life to forgive, and I think that there's a tug on your heart to forgive. And so whether it's forgiving yourself or forgiving someone else, it's essential to you moving to the next level, to the next step, to enjoying your life. All right? So the mindset shift is very powerful. And then the third thing about forgiveness is that it's kind of like that closed fist thing. I hear people use that analogy a lot. Like if you have your hand closed, like your heart is closed or your heart is hard, you can't get anything in there because it's closed. And that is a great way to think about it. And so forgiveness is like the opening of a hand. And the wife coach, LB, I follow her on Instagram, and she's amazing. For those of us that are married or want to be married or considering it or in relationships, LB, the wife coach, is amazing. And she talked about this in one of her webinars she did. And so I love that analogy. However, for me, I experienced an analogy of my own, and it was when, I want to say it was last summer or maybe early fall, I had to clean out my closet. And so forgiveness is kind of like cleaning out the closet to me. I had so many, I feel like was nice clothes I had that either I had, I gained weight and I couldn't wear them, or they just had become too used, but I didn't want to get rid of some things, right? And especially I had some nice coats and things and some gifts. I didn't want to get rid of things. Finally, my closet was becoming so cluttered, I couldn't really move around or do anything in there. And I said, okay, you're going to have to make a decision, girl. You're going to have to get rid of some of the stuff. And so the more I thought about it, I said, yeah, let me just start doing it. So as I began to do it, I realized that unless I purged and got rid of some of the stuff that was in there was no way I was going to get new stuff. And I like new stuff. I mean, I'm not a big shopper because I don't, have a whole lot of extra spending money all the time. I have 3 kids, a dog too. She's like a baby. But anyway, but I like new things. And so I began to think, you can't even, if you don't let go of some of the stuff that's in here, you can't even get anything new that you might want. What about something that you haven't even seen before, you don't know that you like? And that is how forgiveness is. You literally have to let go and clear out the clutter, right? You have to purge some things so that the good stuff, like what's really for you, that's coming in, so that you have room for it. You have to make room for it. And so that's what forgiveness is. And so that's it. Those are the 3 things, talking about what forgiveness is not showing weakness, is not letting someone off the hook, is not saying that what they did was okay. All right? But it is making a conscious decision to move forward. To say to the past, I can't change that. I can't change that situation. But what I do have control over is the direction I take my future. And by that I mean just, stepping into it in a positive manner. And then the second point I hit was the fact that the mindset shift is extremely powerful. When you make up your mind to do something, it is amazing, because then you realize your true potential. All right? And so in that, there's a whole world out there waiting for you once you do that. And then thirdly, just by embracing forgiveness, you realize that you're going to be able to move forward, and that the things that you want as you move forward are going to be able to come to you because you've opened up. And so I want you to know how transformational forgiveness can be. It is a huge part of the healing journey, and we don't like to talk about it because it's a very sensitive subject, and people start getting upset, when they're thinking, you're asking me to let someone else off the hook, and I don't want to do that. And I'm not asking you that. I'm not telling you that. Everybody has their own healing journey. Healing takes time. Your journey is not going to look like my journey. And yes, I'm still healing. I feel good. I feel well, but I'm still healing. And so, sometimes things do trigger me still. And that's going to happen to you. But until you make the decision to forgive whatever it was that happened, to let it go, and to say, I'm ready to move forward, you might find yourself unable to do that. You might find it more difficult until you decide to do that. And so I just wanted to come on today. And like I said, I was going to be brief to speak to you about just some of the benefits of healing. And the series is called From Unmothered to Empowered. And the first time I spoke with you guys, I talked about knowing your worth. So if you didn't see that live, you can go back and watch it. And then last Friday, I talked about feelings and how to deal with the feelings that come up. Some things that you can do so that you can continue to move forward. And so today is about forgiveness. I'm just looking over here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so I want to talk next week, though, more about the transformational power of forgiveness, because it really comes into play with the positive thoughts and the positive actions that can come out, making the decision to change your mind and making your decision to do something that's good for yourself. So I won't get into detail with it today because I want to save it, and don't want to take a whole lot of time. But forgiveness, it is just a huge part of healing, and I see healing as two parts. One part is grieving whatever it is that you lost, and the other part is definitely healing. And so, like I mentioned in the book, where I go into a lot more detail about it. So that is my chat for today, for an impromptu Sunday, just hopping on here. If you guys have questions for me, you're welcome to ask me questions. You can also DM me. You can go to my website. I have scheduling up there, a scheduling tab, and you can schedule with me if you want to talk for a few minutes. I have 20-minute sessions booked off, and so you can select one of those and we can talk. It's completely free. What I'm trying to do is make sure that I know what it is you need. My job, my task, my call is to help people that have gone through something difficult, right? To help them heal. And so I don't take that lightly. This is serious. It's serious over here. And so with that being my call, I invite you to schedule time with me if you want to talk more about it, if you want to ask me questions about my journey and what it was like, what it feels like right now. It's a little bit different because some people still have their moms, and I do talk to a lot of daughters that have gone through what I've gone through. But recently I've begun talking to mothers too. So everybody has some thoughts. My main goal is to help daughters, though, that struggle with toxic or narcissistic mothers or unavailable mothers for whatever reason they didn't have what they needed, and now we are in this it is playing out in our lives in a way that we don't want it to. We're experiencing the trauma of it. So that's what I'm here for. All I know is that I've been given a message, and so that is why I'm here to share that with you. So if you want to DM me, you are welcome to do it. Otherwise, I'm on Janika Brooks. I hope that you guys are enjoying your weekend and enjoying the Sunday, and I hope to see you in my next live.